through my work at the Community Living Innovation Venture, a process was developed called guided reflection. And guided reflection is about a 3-hour group experience that's designed to help a group of people recall and learn from a common experiences that they've had. It's a way to sort of unearth some lessons and some patterns to help a group move forward with whatever initiative they're working on. And the idea with guided reflection is really to give people the permission and the space to take a minute before they begin a strategic planning process, before they start determining next steps for where they want to go with their initiative, and just look at things, how things have gone. We use a storytelling framework, so we like to chart the sequence of events of an initiative, who the main characters are, what the important plot twists are, what propelled the action, what impeded the action, and through using that sort of a format, we eventually look at patterns that either influence how things move forward or negative patterns that really stall and got in the way. So some folks at CLBC had been involved in these type of guided reflections that the venture was facilitating for other initiatives, and thought that it might be a good process, a good way to try and understand what was going on out there with families and service providers and self-advocates and CLBC staff about individualized funding. Because the question that was echoing for several people at CLBC is, why hasn't the uptake on individualized funding been what we predicted it would be, or what we thought it would be? At first, we thought perhaps we had a hunch as to why that was. And in our first guided reflection that we did, what we really unearthed was that our hunch really wasn't correct. And so we thought we needed to dive a bit deeper into that. And one of the things about guided reflection is that creating the space for reflection without judgment is quite important. So the process that we used around doing guided reflection was, instead of me going around the province and guiding reflections with different groups of users of individualized funding or non-users of individualized funding, what we thought we'd do, and what we did, what was very successful, is we recruited families, self-advocates, CLBC staff, service providers to become guides, reflection guides. So we had families guiding families, service providers guiding service providers, self-advocates guiding self-advocates, and guiding through reflections about IF. So once the guided reflections were completed, all the guides wrote narratives of each reflection, and it was through those narratives, through those documents, that we worked as a team to unearth the patterns. And the patterns that emerged really are the findings of this qualitative part of this exploration. And the idea of identifying the patterns was, the patterns were seen to be forces, undercurrents to that question of why IF uptake hadn't been what CLBC predicted it to be. We believed if these patterns aren't considered, if they aren't either strengthened or extinguished or understood, any steps that CLBC takes in the future to try and increase the uptake of the uptake of individualized funding, any steps they take will be influenced by these patterns. They can't be ignored. They are the answer to the question as to why the uptake hasn't been what CLBC predicted it would be.